In this very first college football playoff, we're coming right down to the end. Two teams are left, Ohio State and Notre Dame. But who has the most national championships in college football history? We're going to cover these stories and more coming up in just a moment.
This is the Pigskin Daily History Dispatch, a podcast that covers the anniversaries of American football events throughout history. Your host, Darren Hayes, is podcasting from America's North Shore to bring you the memories of the gridiron, one day at a time.
Hello, my football friends. This is Darren Hayes of PigskinDispatch.com. Welcome once again to the Pig Pen, your portal to positive football history. And yes, the first 12-team college football playoff format is almost coming to an end. And you have a surprise to many people. You have Notre Dame and Ohio State. But maybe that's a logical course of action. We talked about that earlier last week on how they were ranked. But these are definitely proven to be the best two teams in the college football playoffs, as they have both had some convincing wins over some good teams to get there. But we're going to talk about the national champions and who or what school has done it the most. Well, I will tell you that Notre Dame and Ohio State are both in the top 10 for winning the most national championships, but we'll get to them in a second. Let's talk about a couple teams that are not in the playoffs this year. As a matter of fact, all of them are not, except for the two that we mentioned earlier. But one that's really won a lot of championships that people don't give a lot of credit to was the University of Minnesota. The Golden Gophers have won 6 national championships here since 1869. And they won them mostly in the 30s and 40s, 1934, 35, 36, quite a dominant stretch they had there. Then 1940 and 41, and then again in 1960. So they have had a great career of winning national championships. Modern times, maybe we don't think of them as being the national powerhouse that they were back almost 90 years ago. But who knows? Time is cyclical, and they can come back. But 6 championships for them. Somebody that has had some national championships in the recent modern era has been the University of Oklahoma. They have 7 and rank 9th on the list of the most championship games. 1950, 55, 56, 74, 75, 85, and the year 2000 was the last national championship that the Sooners have won to put them 9th on the list. Now, we're going to go to some teams from the old style of football that have a lot of championships. Harvard University, who is no longer an FCS, or an FBS, but an FCS school. But once upon a time, they were a major college. They have 8 national championships, and 4 of them happening in the 19th century, 1875, 90, 1898, and 1899. And then a run in the teens, 1910, 1912, 1913, and 1919. Harvard was the best team in the country. Going along with them is the Princeton Tigers, who also, they had 15 national titles. 1869, 70, 72, 73, 1878 and 79 and 80, 3 years in a row, 1885, 1889, 1893, 1903, 1906, 1911, and 1912 for their 15 for the Princeton Tigers. And that's really quite a bit. But that only puts them 3rd in history for winning championships. Number 1 on that list is another Ivy League school, the Yale University, with 18 national championships. And they had quite a bit in the 1870s, 1874, 76, 77, 1880, 81, 82, 83, 84, 1886 and 87 and 88, 1891, 92 in 1894, and then in the 20th century, 1900, 1907, 1909, and 1927. 18 national titles for the Yaleys, and the Eli winning that many of it. And they're number 1 on our list. But right behind them is the Alabama Crimson Tide with 16 national championships so far. The last being in the year 2020, but they also had them in 1925 and 1926 and 1930. And in the 60s, when Bear Bryant came on the scene, 1961, 64, 65. And in the 70s, still with Bear Bryant, 1978 and 79. 1992, 2009, 2011, 2012, and 2015 and 2017, along with that 2020 championship. Latest coming with Mr. Nick Saban at the helm. So those are some good ones there. Last year's champion, the Michigan Wolverines, come in 5th. They have 10 national championships to their credit. Of course, you have the point-a-minute teams of way back when Fielding H. Yost was their coach, 1901, 1902, 1903, and 1904, 4 years in a row. 1918 and 1923, I believe, under Fritz Kreisler. 1933, 1948, and 1997, and the year 2023 with Mr. Harbaugh at coach. USC is right behind them with 9 national championships in 6th place. They won in 1931-32, 1962, 1967, 1972 and 74 and 78, 2003, 2004 with Pete Carroll as the head coaches of those last two. So they won back-to-back titles on 2 separate occasions for the USC Trojans. Southern Cal is definitely on our list. So that leaves 2 teams that we haven't mentioned. We mentioned 8, and that is our title dwellers that are coming up this year, Ohio State and Notre Dame. Ohio State sits in 8th place on our list with 8 national championships right now. So if they win this year, it'll be number 9. But 1942, 1954, 1957, 1961, 1968, 1970, 2002, and 2014. 1942 was won with Paul Brown, who won, as we talked about in other episodes, he won a high school national championship while at Massillon. He won the college national championship with Ohio State and won professional championships both in the AAFC with the Cleveland Browns and the NFL with the Cleveland Browns in 2014. So it's been 11 years since they won a national championship for Ohio State. But even longer is Notre Dame, who has 13 national championships thus far. This would be 14 if they win this year. They won their championships in 1919, 1924, 1929, 1930, Rockne years there, 1943, 46, and 47, 1949, 1964, 66, 1973, 1977, and 1988 under Lou Holtz was the last time that the Fighting Irish have won a college football national championship. So this indeed is a very historic day. Now, Notre Dame winning their 14th will keep them still in 4th place. But if Ohio State wins, they move from being tied with Harvard at 8 apiece to being tied with USC at 9 and be tied for 6th place all time on the college football national championships. So you see, history may be changing and going to a 12-team format. But the more it changes, the more it stays the same, as we have 2 teams in the top 10 of college football national championships playing this year. And what a history it's going to be, and what a game it's going to be on the 20th of January 2025 when these 2 teams meet. So that's going to be some more history all into itself. But I hope you enjoyed this little bit of history on college football championships and who has the most. Till next time, everybody, have a great Gridiron Day. That's all the football history we have today, folks. Join us back tomorrow for more of your football history. We invite you to check out our website, pigskindispatch.com, not only to see the daily football history, but to experience positive football with our many articles on the good people of the game, as well as our own football comic strip, Cleat Marks Comics. Pigskindispatch.com is also on social media outlets, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and don't forget the Pigskin Dispatch YouTube channel to get all of your positive football news and history. Special thanks to the talents of Mike and Gene Monroe, as well as Jason Neff for letting us use their music during our podcast.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.